Hi, welcome to the National Quiz Choice Online News. Say it hi, I'm Robin Stienberg. Welcome to our show again. Today we have a great wine master here in Singapore, even perhaps Southeast Asia, and that is George Wong, who is known as the God of Wine, stated by Business Times. And we're going to get to know more of George's escapade on his passion on wine. George, welcome to our show. And say hi.
Thank you.
How's life?
Thanks, Robin. Wonderful.
Oh, really? Now tell me, how did you first start, having this great passion for wine, and why wine?
Okay. Obviously, I've been influenced by my dad, who is bitten by the wine bug.
Wine bug, really?
Yeah. I wanted to migrate about 30 years ago to Australia, and in order for me to take time to be a PR, I was thinking, what should I do? And I told him that I want to do my studies. He said, what are you studying? And I tell him it's immunology. He heard oncology. So he's very happy that his son is going to be a doctor and is also a cancer doctor.
Yeah. So now, what kind of wine bug do you fall onto?
He loves wine for sure.
Is it from Australia or New Zealand?
And the best thing is that on graduation, 4 years later, the whole family flew to my graduation. And then my dad realized that I'm no doctor. His son is mad. And I remember he shouted in front of everybody. And then everybody looked at him. He realized that, hey, what is this Chinaman doing here? And he speak in English. Does Singapore have winery? No, Dad. Does Singapore have vineyard? No, Dad. Aren't you mad? And today I realized that I'm really mad because MAD, mad, it means making a difference.
Now, how do you get yourself into the masters of wine? It must be a long journey for you. What is it like for you to graduate with a master's degree in wine?
Okay, you see, today the evolution of the industry is such that you cannot call yourself an expert because I say so. No, we're looking for a paper chase, accreditation, and so on. So I'm still the first and only native Singaporean with degrees in wine, and even today hold a wine MBA, which is less than 90 in the world.
Now, speaking about being the wine god, which this is time to call you.
They're very kind, but I'm unworthy.
Now, what is wine to you? What is the philosophy of wine?
Wine is life. Wine is about passion.
Passion. And why do you take it so seriously?
Because it's my whole life. Yeah. I realized that it is through wine that people click, communicate, express. It's a true revelation or even expression that God really loves us. It's just like wine and made to be drunk, so are women are made to be loved by us.
Now, when was the first time that you tried a glass of wine?
Well, legal age is 18, so I deliberately during my teenager.
Which bottle of wine do you admire most during the first taste?
I think the first bottle I tasted is a champagne.
Oh, champagne, not wine.
Champagne is wine.
Oh, okay. Okay, now today's terms. If you're given a choice to drink red or white, which would you go for? Red wine or white wine?
Okay, I always believe in having the right wine with the right food, with the right ambiance, but most of all, with the right company.
Oh, really?
So I believe in pairing the right wine with the right food.
But is there a myth that red wine is better than white wine, or the white wine is more healthier than red?
Okay, ultimately wine obviously good for the body because of the antioxidant. However, because it's the skin in contact, and especially red wine, they use the skin known as maceration. So therefore, it has more polyphenols, which means to say more antioxidant. So that translates red wine obviously has more health benefit than anything else.
Now, when you first started your career to evangelize about wine in Southeast Asia, especially Singapore, what is it like? I mean, when did you first start out?
I think about 20 years ago. But the most exciting moments of my life or career is to find that Ultimately, I even present to a lot of French people. In short, I teach the French how to appreciate French wine.
Really?
Why not?
For you being the Chinese, telling the French.
The world is changing, as I say. Today is no more made in China, but rather made for China. Okay? We know about emerging market and so on.
Now, what do you see in the trends of wine industry today? You know, back 10 years ago and today here in Singapore and Southeast Asia, do you see an increase of growth and more demand for wine?
Certainly. I think the industry has become more and more sophisticated, and for sure, it's a very developed industry in Singapore.
So are you against having corks or screw caps?
Ultimately, we talk about closure. For convenience, especially the white wine, and because of TCA, problem TCA, obviously I prefer a sterling cap or known as a screw cap. However, to have a higher perception of a good quality wine, obviously the traditional cork, which I would prefer, which give a certain higher perceived value.
And it still is today, even though the regime is gone.
Certainly.
Now, for people who are trying to, get a date with a woman, by the bar over a glass of wine, how do you do that? You're an expert, right?
Are you trying to say picking a woman in a bar?
Politely.
Or are you trying to say that we are actually trying to impress our date on the first time?
Yes.
So which one?
Well, that's the one.
Okay, that's great. Obviously, it's good that we have to adhere certain social ethics. Like for example, when I go for wine tasting or wine dinner, I would never wear perfume. But more so, is I'm able to impress upon my date the selection of my wine for the right food and for the right occasion.
Really? Now, why not perfume? Why is it wrong to go on perfume for men?
No, it's not wrong, but when I come to wine tasting or wine dinner, the perfume may overpower my Chateau Lafite 1959 or Chateau Petrus 1960. So it's a courtesy extended to my neighbor, which I call it etiquette.
Now, so far, what kind of wines would you prefer to recommend for those first timers who have never tried wine before?
Okay. Ultimately, wine is an acquired taste. So therefore, I will definitely recommend a New World wine because it's fruit-driven, it's very approachable. Whereas the Old World wine may have certain tannins and full of austerity. So therefore, it is more of an acquired taste.
But wouldn't you recommend those kind of wine like maybe less of a full body or a full body for first timers? Would you recommend? What would you recommend for first timers?
Well, I always believe in pairing the right wine with the right food.
Oh, okay.
Come to my class, we'll explore a wider scope of different portfolios and wine selection.
Oh, and you do have classes too?
Obviously.
And do you have a website or a Facebook that people could find you for more information?
Certainly. You can even Google George Wong, God of Wine. You can find me very easily.
Say hi, please find George Wong and God of Wine by Google. And George, tell me, what was your most memorable moment that you faced so far in evangelizing on wine? What was the one moment that you enjoy most?
I think the most enjoyable is that when I address a crowd of private bankers from France.
Really? When was that?
That was a couple of years ago, and they realized that how can an Asian know much more knowledge in wine than they themselves,
Really?
who owns vineyard and who are winemakers for generations.
Are they insulted by that?
No, ultimately the truth speaks for itself, even though the truth may hurt a little.
Did they invite you back after that?
We are best friends today.
Amazing.
You know what? They always say that wine is our culture. Or they even challenge me that saying they have been in and out of the vineyard more than me, which is true. But I replied that even if they've been in and out of the hospital, it do not make them a doctor. it makes them a patient. So therefore today people look at accreditation instead of learning wines through trial and error. You can learn it in a shorter way, but most of all, the right way.
Now, before we go, is there any advice for those people who are exploring to be following your footsteps, to be an evangelist, in wine? What does it take to be a good wine speaker or a teacher?
Okay, I think the best way to learn about wine is to teach.
Really?
Yeah, when you want to teach something, you must have the knowledge in the very first place. So it forces yourself to learn more about wine.
But didn't you make a lot of mistakes along the way?
Well, today I'm still learning.
And did you have to travel to vineyards?
Obviously, probably about 4 times to 6 times every year.
Wow, you
Yeah.
did that all that.
I even bring groups of wine lovers to explore the vineyards, and I realized that Singaporean, they only love 2 countries, 2 wine regions: Bordeaux, which is the world capital of wines, and Margarita.
Okay.
I find that they should explore other places like Napa Valley, Tuscany, and what have you.
Amazing. And what was the most memorable trips that you ever made? For wine trips? And where would you recommend?
Okay. I think I love Tuscany tremendously. Even in Bordeaux, besides visiting vineyards, we will even enjoy a 3-star Michelin restaurants. Yeah.
Now, is there a need in Singapore, especially in Southeast Asia, is there a need today where sommeliers or upcoming sommeliers need more education in knowing how to educate their customers about wine? Is there a need today?
Obviously. Unfortunately, we do not have a sommelier school like in the US or in Europe. We have a hospitality school. However, I felt that a lot of sommeliers in Singapore, they are not proud to be called sommelier, because in French the word sommelier, it means a wine waiter. They prefer to be called director of wines or F&B director. So the culture is not there yet.
Okay. Now, are there plans to establish such an institution in Singapore and Southeast Asia?
Sure. And it's always my dream to make Singapore a wine hub that Asia cannot do without.
And how long would that take? What do you foresee?
Well, probably 10 more years.
Now, before we let you go, what sort of code do you live by every day? Is there your favorite code that your father passed you to about wine?
Obviously, a meal without wine is like a day without sunshine.
Really? So that's the code you live by?
And probably the only meal without wine is breakfast.
Well, thank you, George, for joining me. Thank you for joining me here at the National Queen's Choice. Say it hi, I'm Robin Stienberg. Have a great week ahead, and don't forget,